Well, I'm still hearing you really good there, so yeah, the PoC is doing a good job.
Ride on, Jewel. Let your spirit be free with the wind at your back.
Hey,
and
I told you I knew where I was.
Sing loud, Jewel. Let your heart be your guide in the depths of the thunder. It's your rant and your ride.
Yep, that's right. I think it's going to be pretty awesome. So I'm out here in the dirt. In the areas I can do it one-hander, I can talk. Wow, I haven't been on the China bike, I think, in almost a month, maybe 3 weeks. It feels weird. Okay, so anyway, this video is, the rant is about PoC Radios.
Which is a good thing. Just one more way to communicate when the lights go out.
Hallelujah, I think it's going to be a good routine.
Alrighty, well, I will let you get back at it so you can drive safe instead of trying to drive with one hand.
All right, I'll check in with you soon.
Click.
All right, so today's topic on rant and ride. All right, so the subject for today's rant is PoC Radios. You know, we're big into radios. Me and my friends, some of my friends. So just about every kind of radio you can think of, we're into. And now we're testing out PoC Radios. And they're pretty interesting. So PoC Radios are supposed to work anywhere in the world. That's the claim. And they're supposed to work on any cell network. So if you get a PoC radio, it's not just locked in to one cell service, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, or whatever. They will search whatever cell network is available to them, and they'll go over that network. That's why they claim that they can work worldwide. You still are limited to coverage, so if you don't have any cell coverage from any cell service, then the radio won't work. They do make PoC radios that also have FRS, but FRS is kind of like half a watt or 1 watt, so really line of sight. You know, you probably wouldn't even talk a mile away. You might be able to, mountaintop from mountaintop, or mountaintop to level, but yeah, FRS is regular walkie-talkie for kiddos, right? So anyway, like I said yesterday, I got a lot late start again because playing with radios this morning. But we're going into El Dorado Canyon. We, as in Aaron and I, we're going into El Dorado on the China bike, so I'm going for a ride on my China bike and then top off the battery today for tomorrow. I know we're going to the cave. We may try to do my loop ride, which would be awesome, but I don't have 4 good batteries for these bikes. I've got 4 batteries, but one of them is damaged, broken. So it only lasts about 10 miles, which would be good enough. If it will last 10 miles, it'll be good enough. But anytime it has a pretty hard amperage pull on it, it kills the battery fast. So, the one thing I think we've learned about PoC Radios is whatever brand that you choose to go with, you know, everybody you want to talk to on a PoC radio has to have that same brand. PoC Radios don't talk to other PoC Radios. So it's kind of like a service that you can only talk to the same brand of PoC radio. So this isn't an advertisement or a sponsorship for the PoC radios that we bought, but we got our PoC radios because we bought 3 of them, and we got all 3 of the PoC radios for under $100, whereas a lot of PoC radio companies and makers, they almost want $100 per PoC radio. And of course, the PoC radios we chose are very tiny. You know, they don't maybe have all of the features that some of these other companies have with their PoC radios, but I can try to show you here. I don't know if I can show you, if you can see that in the camera. So that's what size the PoC radio is. It's pretty small. And what I'm testing on the PoC radio today is I think I'm gonna go up to the truck route, and I don't think I have a cell signal up there in that area. I don't think my service provider I can reach from my cell phone. So we're gonna see if the PoC radio works when I don't have service. Now, saying all of this, PoC radios usually come with an app. This particular PoC radio does. And what that means is your friend, if he doesn't have a PoC radio, he can download the PoC radio app and join the group and talk to us on our PoC radio through his phone app. So he won't need a PoC radio to talk to us. So for those family members or friends who don't want to have a PoC radio or pack it around, but they'll put the app on their phone, they can still communicate with PoC users. All right, so that's what we know so far. I'm not saying all that information is perfectly correct, but that's what we know to this point. All right, so I'm just out here playing on the China bike, and I'm only in pedal assist 1. That's why I'm moving so slow, but I'll have to kick it up to 2 when I get up here to the uphill. You can muscle it in pedal assist 1, but you got to work twice as hard as the legit mountain bike. My Canyon mountain bike easily work twice as hard to pedal up those rocks. So I'll probably kick it up to pedal assist and use a tiny bit of throttle assist input just to get over some of those rock obstacles. So the China bike has its advantages because you can input some throttle assist on your pedal assist, which is cool. Helps you get over obstacles. You know, so pedal assist 1. I'll just see if I can get up this, I don't know. Yes, but that hurts. Yeah, so you can in pedal assist 1. It would have worked better in pedal assist 2. You know, but the hill's pretty steep. All right, so we'll get started here again in a minute. All right, so as China batteries go, you know, it shows I have 4 bars, but when I'm putting power to it, it drops down to 2 bars. And I've got 3 steep hill climbs, which it may not even make up because of the battery bars. So we're going to try it. Let's see here. Do I have cell signal? I do. Yeah. Still. Yep, so just testing the PoC radio. I still have a cell signal here, but it's not 5G, it's only LTE at the spot where I'm at. I'm just close to my hill climb right here, so yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm still hearing you really good there, so yeah, the PoC is doing a good job.
Alrighty, sounds good. So I'll mosey on. You know, I haven't ridden this thing for 3 weeks to a month, so my battery started dropping pretty fast, so I may not even be able to get up these hill climbs with it the way it is, but if not, I'll get over to the truck route up this gravel road here. All right, so let's see what the China bike's gonna do on this hill climb with
yeah, I'm not sure if you heard that, but I did hear you through the phone and temporarily lost you through the radio.
Whoa. All right, first hill climb done. And I've only got one battery bar left. Pretty sketch. Well, let's see if I'm gonna get up this hill. Like I said, you know, these China batteries that shows 4 bars, it's like, great, I got a lot of battery left, but as soon as you start climbing steep hills, it drops to 1 bar. So these batteries don't hold amperage power very well. Yeah. So we'll see if it doesn't crud out on this uphill. Might just die. Let's see what happens. Okay, well, it stayed. No, it went to 1 bar. All right. Woo! Yeah. Okay, came back up to 2 bars. All right, my last hill climb here. Going over to the truck route on the Chinese mountain bike. Pretty rocky. Woo! Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it's still holding 2 battery bars, which is okay. Started off with full battery bars, went to 4 battery bars, but when you're climbing these steep hills, drops to 2 bars. But I haven't charged the battery. Even though it said full, you know, batteries lose while they sit. And I haven't charged this battery for 3 weeks to a month. But the one thing about the China bike, you almost never get a crank straight because the cranks are really short. You know, I want to shorten the cranks on my Canyon bike, that way I can have more confidence jumping over rocks, boulders, and that kind of stuff. You know, which will probably in turn make it harder to pedal the canyon bike, right? Even though it's pedal assist, you're gonna have a shorter pedal stroke with shorter arms, so you'll have to increase the assist to get the same pedal stroke. Okay. Yeah, China bike has really lousy suspension, but you know, when you put low tire pressure in balloon tires, makes up for it a little bit. You know, but what I would say, if anybody's gonna buy a cheap China bike, anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000, is make sure it has a quality battery, a Samsung battery, a Panasonic battery, or an LG battery. Don't buy a China bike that has their own battery, you know, made by Quinxing Shang or something, because the battery cells aren't quality. So it'll start off working good, but every time you charge it, you know, it's gonna lose battery capacity faster than if you had a Samsung battery pack, Panasonic, or LG. You need a quality battery pack. You know, and the China ones aren't cheap. So to buy another battery for this bike and controller is $500. So if I have to replace another battery, I think I'm gonna just shop for a new Samsung or Panasonic battery with a new controller and change it out, because it'll last longer. I abuse this bike, and I guess I abused the battery, but I think the battery should last longer than they have been on individual rides and overall lasting. All right, so that's my thought on China bike and batteries. This bike is fun. You know, it's almost like instead of buy a new battery pack, just buy another bike. Have a backup bike for only $500 more. All right, we're at the truck route. Interfere. My thought at the moment is the phone app can interfere with the PoC radio reception if the phone app loses cell service.
Okay, yeah, that's something to think about, I guess. It's not important that the app be on, right? But it's definitely something that we probably should test further.
Yeah, and we'll do that. You know, I just noticed, like, all of a sudden I couldn't talk to you anymore, and the PoC radio was disconnected, and then I checked the phone and it was disconnected, so... But this is the same spot where everything was disconnected, so now the phone's off, but the PoC radio has 3 cell bars, so...
Cool, so...
Yep, you cut out there for a sec.
Yeah, as long as there's as long as the radio can hit a cell tower, it should be good to go.
Yeah, I think you're right. All right, I'm going to flip around and head home. I mean, that test was good. Good to know that, the things we're finding out. All right. Okay, talk to you soon.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
So, PoC Radio, yeah, lost connection. But my phone with the app lost connection. So I think when you have the phone app on, it's connected to the radio. And my thought process at the moment is when the phone app loses connection, it interferes with the PoC radio having connection just to the cell service. So I had to turn off the PoC radio and restart it. And then it reconnected to cell service. My phone is off right now, so we're just using PoC Radio. So it does work by itself, which is good to know. I mean, it should. So that's what we're finding out. So, we'll keep testing it and keep reviewing it and keep reporting on it. Hallelujah.